What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. And my God, the game that was today, the Flyers game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, my God, it was weird. My God, the entire night was weird. It resulted in a Flyers win, which I don't mind. Which I don't mind at all. Definitely a much needed win bouncing back, from the very rough and frustrating weekend where the Flyers probably deserved better fates in both the Rangers and the Penguins game. They come up against the Tampa Bay Lightning team that they really struggle to beat in Philadelphia, and they find themselves getting 2 points out of tonight after the power goes off in the Wells Fargo Center, which it was off for probably half the game. It was weird. It was crazy. Just like out of the blue, the power goes off, and then they're trying to decide, oh, do we end the period? Oh, do we play through this? Can the goalie see the puck enough? And it took a little bit for them to decide to play the puck. It definitely was very interesting with basically the scoreboard was off, all the screens were off, there was barely any light shining down, but I guess it was good enough on the surface to see the puck and do everything on the ice. It was definitely an experience. It definitely would be that one time, like, that's definitely a very memorable Flyers game for a lot of people. Say if it's their first hockey game, say if it's their first, Flyers game, and they go to that and they see the Flyers smack Tampa Bay, and also the power goes out. That definitely is one to put in the memory banks for a long time to come. Hey, remember that game where the Flyers won and the power went out? Oh, man. It was just crazy. No one knew when the power was going to come back on. People were trolling the Flyers Twitter account because they said something before the game about, like, bringing the electricity or something like that. And then, of course, the power goes out and the Flyers Twitter jokes on themselves during that entire thing. So it was just a crazy night of events. So, man, it was just pure chaos. I guess that's the way to describe it, pure chaos. And before the game, you get the recalling of Bobby Brink from Lehigh Valley, who I believe had 10 points in 10 games or 11 points in 11 games. He was basically point per game ever since getting sent back down to Lehigh Valley, so that's definitely something for him to get his confidence back up. And hell, first game he comes back up, gets a little bit of a broken play because I think the Flyers were making a line change at the same time as Tampa Bay was. Bobby Brink brings the puck up the ice. He's one-on-one with the defender, and I guess he uses the defender as a screen or something like that on this shot, but Andrei Vasilevskiy just completely whiffed on it. Like, this shot was probably the most harmless shot that you could possibly see. It should have been an easy save for Vasilevskiy, but hey, Bobby Brink gets the goal. We'll take it any day of the week. And this is the first time in person that I've seen a very human Andrei Vasilevskiy. Every time I watch Andrei Vasilevskiy play the Flyers, the dude's lights out, and it's impossible to score off the guy. Tonight, looked like Cal Peterson in the net. He was that bad. I've never seen this version of an Andrei Vasilevskiy. And I know he was coming off of the back surgery in the beginning of the season. He definitely got off to a slower start since coming back from that surgery. He did ramp it up a little bit, but like it was just weird. That's basically it. It was just weird. There were certain shots where you're just like, just keep throwing pucks onto the net because he's obviously not seeing the puck well. He's obviously not tracking it well. So just keep throwing biscuits onto the net. And the Flyers kind of got away from that as, that whole stoppage in the first period with the power going out. And that was just basically an uneventful rest of the first period. Nothing really happened much on both sides of the ice. But when you go into that second period, you give Tampa Bay a power play. Tampa takes a penalty, makes it 4-on-4, and then once again you get outworked 4-on-4, where you get caught puck watching in your own defensive zone, which allows for somehow Nick Paul, out of all people, to get wide open in the slot, just completely beats one of your defenders, and he just wires it past Sam Ersson, ties the game up, and basically after that 4-on-4, Tampa Bay took complete control over that second period. There was nothing. The Flyers were basically not able to generate anything in that second period. It was all Tampa Bay. Just offensive zone pressure after offensive zone pressure. The Flyers couldn't generate anything in that second period. It was dreadful. It was bad. It was not fun to watch, and somehow, some way, they only managed to escape the period being tied. So it could have been way worse. Sam Ersson definitely was very huge in that second period. I thought Sam Ersson had a pretty good game. Stopped a lot of, dangerous shots on the side of Tampa Bay. So, hey, Ersson was making the saves, Vasilevskiy wasn't, and you were able to win this game. Hey, if you got those saves in the goddamn Pittsburgh game, maybe we would have had a different result in that game as well. But I'm not going to keep going back to that because that is just painful memories every single time. I don't want to remember that Pittsburgh game, but I'm going to keep remembering that Pittsburgh game just because it was so painful. It was so painful. That entire weekend was painful. But hey, gotta win tonight. Really important because especially the Devils, they're playing the San Jose Sharks tonight. And, you get those 2 points. And regardless of what the Devils do against San Jose, you sleep a little bit better tonight knowing that you took care of your own business and you're controlling your own destiny at the end of the day. So that's the most important thing there. Hey, Tyson Foerster, ever since coming off from the injury, dude has 4 goals in 3 games since coming back. Dude, seriously, this was another situation. It was a beautiful move by Tyson Foerster. Going between his legs, finding a way to go backhand, puts it on Vasilevsky. I have no idea how Vasilevsky missed that. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. The move was beautiful by Foerster, but that was a very stoppable puck. It was a very stoppable puck, and Vasilevsky should have had that. But hey, another goal for Foerster, and I think that completely changed the momentum in the Flyers' favor because I think at that point they just realized Vasilevsky was not on tonight. He was just completely lost, and it results a few minutes later. Tampa Bay turns the puck over in the Flyers zone. Flyers go back down the ice. Noah Cates, which I thought was offside, but he did a good move to keep it onside. As the Flyers are entering the offensive zone, he pivots to the right, gets into the slot, and he finds a trailing Travis Sanheim coming down the right wall. Dishes it off to him, and Sanheim just wires it past Vasilevsky. All of a sudden, it's 3-1. And then a few minutes later, Sean Walker gets into the business after the Flyers. A nice pass by Joel Farabee, pushing up on the play. Walker snipes it. 4-1 Flyers. Bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. All of a sudden, all that momentum went into your favor, and you're like, oh my god, where the hell did this come from? Oh my god, Vasilevsky is not on tonight. Holy shit. It was just one of those nights. I guess when the power goes out, anything can happen. Even though by this time the power was basically back on. The music was working again, the lights were basically working. Really, the only thing that wasn't working the rest of the night was the scoreboard. That was basically it. But, it was just a weird night. It was a very weird night because it even gets weirder. Because with 9 minutes left in the game, Tampa Bay decides to pull the goaltender when they're down 3. They do eventually score because the Flyers couldn't hit an empty net. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with the empty net. They just kept trying to clear it down, dump it down the ice every time into the empty net. It just turned into icing after icing after icing after icing. And then eventually, Steven Stamkos off of a one-timer buries it. Makes it a 4-2 game. I'm sure Torts wasn't happy with that entire sequence of 4 minutes of constantly trying to hit the empty net. I'm sure he definitely wasn't happy with that situation. But it's a 4-2 game. Tampa Bay decides to pull the goaltender again, but maybe Vasilevsky went a little too early because Nikita Kucherov bringing the puck up the ice, and he turns it over to Noah Cates, and Vasilevsky isn't paying attention as he's getting onto the bench, and Noah Cates just easily buries it into the empty net. 5-2 Flyers, and then Tampa Bay decides to pull the empty netter again, and then and then York just somehow hits it from his own defensive end. I'm like, holy shit, the Flyers can actually hit the empty net from their own zone. I've never seen that before in my life. So it was good for those two to get on the board there. It was very good to see that. Flyers win 6-2. Played a really good game. Second period definitely was not the best. I would like to forget about that second period. But I would say for the most part, you played a much better game than the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is very good. There's also some good news, some questionable news surrounding this game, so I guess I'll get to the questionable news. John Tortorella did say after the game they still don't know when they're getting Travis Konechny back, so that's a little bit worrisome. And I guess on the brighter side of news is that Jamie Drysdale, the hit that he left the game with on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which it looked completely terrible on the ice. I was expecting the worst. I think we got the best case scenario out of this entire situation. He's only week to week, and he's going to be reevaluated in a couple of weeks. So that's the benefit of the doubt right there. But then also one of the Flyers reporters that are up there in the press box, they saw Jamie Drysdale up there in the press box, and he was not wearing anything on his shoulder to protect it, no sling or anything. So that I guess is also the best case scenario to where he doesn't need anything to protect his shoulder, and maybe he just banged it in a weird way. Maybe the shoulder did get dislocated, but it wasn't dislocated in a bad situation to where it was like his previous injury when he was with Anaheim. So I think the Flyers definitely dodged a major bullet there. I would still lean on the side of precaution with Jamie Drysdale, just just being precautious here because he's definitely a big part of this Flyers' future, and he's still very young. I don't want to be, damage those goods right there with Jamie Drysdale. So thankfully on that part, you avoided the worst case scenario. But also Rasmus Ristolainen, he's on IR now. He's probably not coming back the rest of the season. It's just one of those things with his injuries. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. What else? What else? Torts said that this was during the delay of the first period. They asked me if you want to play. I did, and John Cooper did. We both decided to let's ask the goalies. We're up 1-0 at that time. I don't think Ersson was too crazy about it. I really don't give a shit what Ers was. We're up 1-0. Oh, classic Torts. Classic Torts. Classic Torts. That was funny. That is definitely funny. Let's see. Anything out here? Anything else? Excuse me. Excuse me, I don't know where that yawn came from. I'm sorry, it's been a very long day. It's been a very long day, boys. And it's gonna be a very long night because I'm still gonna be doing some work after this, so, mind the yawn there. I apologize for that. That was very unprofessional, but that's a YouTube channel. Like, you don't expect professionalism from me. But, if we're looking at the standings right now, Flyers, they have 69 points on the season. They are 31, 22, and 7. They are 6 points ahead of the Washington Capitals currently. They are 7 points ahead of the New Jersey Devils. And both of those teams, they got 2 games in hand. And I'm assuming the Washington Capitals, they lost today. Because according to this schedule, they lost, according to that. And for the Devils, they're not playing until later tonight, if I am not mistaken. I don't think they're playing until later tonight. Did the Capitals play tonight? Did the Capitals play tonight? Because it says their last game they lost. No, I don't think they played tonight. No, they did. Okay, they got crushed by the goddamn Red Wings. Holy shit. They got destroyed 8-3. So I guess that helps in that predicament. And then for the New Jersey Devils, that game is just getting underway against the San Jose Sharks. So we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see what that result turns into. And if anyone cares, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're playing the Vancouver Canucks. So if anyone cares about that. So we'll wait and see what happens with that Devils game. If the Devils lose, it'll still be a 7-point lead for the Flyers with 1 game in hand on them. And yeah, that's basically it there. The Flyers are also 7 games ahead of the New York Islanders, 9 points ahead of the Penguins, and that's basically it there. The Penguins do have 5 games in hand, but I don't expect the Penguins to catch up to the Flyers because I just believe the Penguins are that dreadful, in my honest opinion. That's just what it is. But moving on with the schedule, this was the last game for the month of February. The Flyers have 2 days off after this, and they got a back-to-back this weekend on Friday and Saturday. Friday on the road against the Capitals, and then Saturday at home against the Ottawa Senators and Claude Giroux. So that is something there. And then they got a home game on the 4th of March against the St. Louis Blues after a day off on Sunday. Then they get 2 days off after that. Then they go on their Florida road trip against the Panthers and the Lightning. The schedule just gets tougher from here. They mix in a game against the San Jose Sharks at home on the 12th. Then they play Toronto at home on the 14th. They go to Boston on the 16th. They play Toronto at home again on the 19th, so I don't know what the fuck that scheduling is. Then they play Carolina on the road on the 21st. They play Boston at home on the 23rd. Panthers at home on the 24th. Rangers on the road on the 26th. Montreal on the road on the 28th. And then the 30th is the Chicago Blackhawks at home. Connor Bedard playing in Philadelphia. And then when you get into April, We're not going to go that far yet. So, yeah. Flyers control their own destiny at this point. Definitely a very important game to get their mojo back and crack. Hopefully, we can get Travis Konecny back after after a few games here. So that'll be definitely very important. I think they miss his energy a little bit. And Torts did have a comment here on TK. Says, we miss TK. He's a huge part of our energy. It's going to be hard if he doesn't get back in. I'm not sure what the situation is with TK when he comes back. Until he does, we got to do it by committee, and everybody's just got to raise their level. That's exactly there. That's exactly what, needs to happen there, man. What else? Don't think there's anything else here on Twitter in regards to that. We do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline, so we might as well get to that. You can link those at 215-839-9885, voicemails or text messages for any future videos. We do got a call here from Sean once again, and I think Sean's going to have a little bit of a rebuttal from his call on Sunday when he said that the Flyers, it was a guaranteed loss tonight against Tampa Bay, so I wonder what Sean's response is to that. So, Sean, what's your response to you being wrong?
Strange night, to say the least, but a productive night for the Flyers. I'm happy to sit here and admit I was wrong. I mean, I thought for sure going into that third period that Tampa would find a way to strike early, get an empty netter, and win it 3-1. But give the Flyers credit. I mean, Andre Vasilevsky channeled his inner Cal Peterson tonight because some of the goals he gave up were not typical of his performances against the Flyers, but give the Flyers credit for taking advantage. Tyson Foerster, I mean, again, you hope that kid can just stay healthy because he's a scoring machine right now. The puck's on his stick and it's going in the net. Glad to see the team rewarded after the tough weekend. They battled, they hung in there. They got 2 points against a real good team that's been a pain in the ass against them for years. Got to build off this. Got to keep putting 2 points on the board. Keep stacking wins.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep getting those wins. And it starts on Friday against Washington. And if I look at the Washington Capitals right now, just to see what their schedule has been in the recent couple of games after, they got destroyed tonight against Detroit. So before this Detroit game, they actually won 4 of their last 5 games before the Detroit game, but looking at the beginning of the month of February, they lost 2 in a row, 1-1, lost in overtime, lost to the Avalanche, and then they went on a nice little winning streak, 4-3 win against Montreal, 6-2 win against the Devils, 5-3 win against Tampa Bay, lost in overtime to the Panthers 3-2, beat the Ottawa Senators 6-3, and they got smoked by Detroit 8-3. For the rest of their schedule, they got the Flyers on Friday, Arizona on Sunday, Pittsburgh, Chicago. They go on Western Canadian road trip, so that's tough for them. They got some tough games at the end of the season, so I really don't expect much from the Capitals. It looks like they're scoring a lot more lately, so I wonder if Ovi's heating up a little bit, but how has their goaltending been holding up? Kemper's been bad, and Lindgren definitely probably cooled off from his start to the season. They really split the goaltending duties there with Kemper and Lindgren. Yep, they're not a goal-scoring team. Ovechkin's definitely having looks like Father Time's catching up to him a little bit. Hopefully he can still have a little bit of gas in the tank to catch Gretzky's record. That'll definitely be something. He's got 838 goals. So, hopefully he can find a way to catch up to that in the next few years. I just hope Father Time hasn't fully caught up to him. Hopefully that is the case. Well, not the case at least there with Ovi. I would love to see him break the record. But, can't let that happen on on Friday. He's not going to break the record on Friday. He's not going to score 70-plus goals to break the record, 60-plus goals. That's just not going to happen unless Cal Peterson in the net. Unless Cal Peterson in the net. That'll probably happen if Cal Peterson's in the net. But, yeah. So, that's going to do it for tonight, everybody. Huge win for the Fly guys. Let's see if they can build off this momentum after finally getting rewarded. So, yeah. Thanks, guys, for tuning into this whenever you decide to. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in whenever you decide to. And I'll see you next time.